Good morning, and thanks everyone for coming to the developers call, the project call for August of 2018. Good morning, and thanks everyone for coming to the developers call. Sorry, turns out that you should mute it when you're watching it yourself. In lieu of Martin or Ben being available, I'll be running it, and we'll move this video onto the official GNU Radio account as soon as possible. We only have a few items on this list, but one of them is, well, both of them are quite large. So we'll start off with Marcus talking about the 3.8 release status.
As soon as he finds his microphone unmute button. Right, so we've been on 3.7 for years, and that's a bummer because we've got so much exciting stuff coming up for 3.8. And because there's no use installing this anymore, we're going to have a 3.8 release soon. And by soon, I mean we'll have a release candidate for GRCon, which is mid-September, as everyone knows by now, which means that we probably won't have a ready-to-use release at GRCon, but we have a ready-to-discuss compilable working thing that contains everything that we'll have in 3.8, which is pretty awesome. I'm amazed that we've actually managed that, and I'm certainly not the one that spent most work on that alone. And so here's a short list of things that you should be looking forward to. First of all, we're moving away from being a Qt4 only project towards being a Qt4, Qt5 project, and finally being a Qt5 only project. That has very natural reasons because, for example, Debian has, after decades of support, thrown out Qt4, and so we basically had no choice here. But it's also awesome because Qt5 is a lot more logical in a lot of places, so this will hopefully be a great thing for GNU Radio as a project. The other big dependency we do have is Python 2, and that's not going to stick around forever either, so we're moving on to Python 3. That's something that has taken a lot of work to implement, and GNU Radio 3.8 will be Python 2 and Python 3 compatible. We're obviously not going to stick around with Python 2 forever, but 3.8 will still support Python 2, just to not break everyone's application out there. Then we'll have nice upgrades in GRC, which are like twofold. We have the we'll move on with the GTK dependency. Everything looks neater, looks nicer, is more performant by now. Also, we're moving away from our XML parser, which has to do with the fact that that parser isn't available for Python 3, but also because XML was really clunky and things took a long time to actually work out. So we're moving to YAML as format for documenting block structures and flow graphs for GRC. But that means that we've basically touched every single block definition file. And like there's been a GSOC last year, that's Harcon's GSOC, was to add C++ templates to GRC, and we'll have that integrated now. That's like, I guess those are the biggest things that everyone else, everyone out there will notice. We'll have a lot of like smaller changes in there, a lot of things that developers will be really delighted in. But from a user's perspective, like Python 3 and Qt5 are like the biggest benefits that you'll get from updating like all the future. We're future-proof by now. So look forward to 3.8 appearing around GRCon, and don't stop reporting bugs.
Great, thanks, Marcus. It's going to be exciting to see that finally coming around.
Yes.
And also seeing all of the branches finally coming into line with the new development structure should make things a lot simpler for everybody.
Yeah.
The second big note that we had for this project call is, unsurprisingly, GNU Radio Conference coming up in less than a month now. We pretty much everybody on the call, if not actually everybody on the call at the moment, will be in Las Vegas, Nevada from the 17th to the 21st. The one big takeaway, if you don't take away anything else, is if you are planning on attending and you haven't bought a ticket yet, the regular ticket sales will end at the end of this month. Tickets will still be available, but they will be more expensive. So please take advantage of the current pricing and get your ticket. In terms of what's going on at the event, we're really happy to say that as in previous years, the two social events are going forward. The Monday social is sponsored by SkySafe, which have sponsored previously but are taking on a big role this year. And then the Wednesday social will be held at the Hard Rock Cafe and should be a really fun evening, a good chance to get to meet everyone at the conference if you haven't during the day. In terms of sponsors, I wanted to make a particular shout out to the sponsors that we have on board at the moment. And kind of in no particular order here, the SkySafe, as I mentioned, returning again, we have Epic Solutions, Cyber Radio Solutions, Leonardo DRS, Analog Devices, which have been a big sponsor previously, coming back again, and particularly, notably, they are going to be giving out a Pluto SDR to every student attendee, well, the first 100, I should say, the first 100 student attendees. So that's the fantastic, and we're really happy and grateful to them for that. DeepSig, Great Scott Gadgets, and Edis Research, National Instruments, all coming on as sponsors again. So look out for announcements from them, look out for them at the conference, and many of them will have booths in the expo hall. So that's great to see. All of that organizational information out of the way. We will be having a set of workshops ranging from the block party, which has been announced on previous calls and on the mailing list. Unfortunately, Michelle is in the middle of the desert at the moment, and so I can't be here and announce this, but that is going to be going forward, and that's the development of DVB S2 support within the within GNU Radio, specifically looking at receiving, I believe, as the transmit side is already implemented happily within the main code tree. There's also Edis Research running their ARF NOC workshop. I've been told today that there is still space in that if you're interested in attending. And then Analog Devices talking about their Pluto SDR, Linux IIO framework, and how to integrate FPGA development in with that, which are exciting topics. And Marcus will be running a particular session. Do you want to describe that one?
Yeah, sure. So I'm gonna have a session called "Fix Your First Bug." Why though? I mean, radio is nearly perfect, but we're not quite there at perfection. So what everyone needs to do occasionally, if they develop software, is fix their own or someone else's bugs. And because that's like such an important topic in like people developing their own software, and because like showing people how to solve their problems probably is a good idea for a project in the long term. I'm running a session where we'll talk about how to like find a bug, how to describe a bug, how to identify what's the cause of a bug, how to fix that bug, and if necessary, and probably it is, and if necessary, to upstream your code fix, how to get like your code into GNU Radio, so that we'll take care of like making sure that in the future your code still fixes that bug. So join me if you like want to figure out how we typically go ahead and like solve a bug in like a DSP block or something else that's very close to what people usually like fight with when they're like writing a blog to solve their signal processing needs.
Great, thanks, Marcus. Continuing on down the list, we do have quite the list this year, which is great. We have a tutorial that's being run on machine learning applications using open source machine learning SDR tools in RF systems for sensing and navigation, which I'm personally very much looking forward to. And then we have 3 breakout sessions occurring on the Friday. We have an education-centric one, which will be run in the morning. If you use GNU Radio in a university setting to teach with, etc., check out the mailing list. I'll make sure that there's a link in the description of the video for more information. But we will be running a session there talking about how GNU Radio is used, how different people can interact with each other, and how everyone can benefit from GNU Radio. There will be a heterogeneous computing breakout session, which will be, unsurprisingly, talking about how GNU Radio can be better architected in the future to take advantage of all the different resources which we have for number crunching. And then, Mark, do you want to talk about the documentation breakout session? Or I can continue on with that. But Mark, who is on the call here, will be running a documentation session looking at what documentation do we have now, how can it be better structured, and where should it live, what format, and hopefully leading to a general quality improvement of our documentation, which is a perennial thing that we're looking to always improve upon. Then throughout the week, there will be other sessions that break out. We have Ben Hilburn, the project lead, will be talking about licensing and its context within open source and specifically within GNU Radio and Volk, I believe. And then also the SIGMF format, which was spawned off of a GNU Radio Hackfest, talked about last year at the conference, and looking to continue the efforts of getting that implemented and in use. Those are my big talking points. Does anybody else on the call have anything that they would like to talk about? Hearing none. That's really the big highlights for the project right now. I think most people have been very heads down. The organizing committee for the conference particularly has been doing a lot of work, and I look forward to making sure that everyone there gets a chance to stand up at the conference and get the recognition they definitely deserve. And then in the slightly less obvious but absolutely essential deliverables, there's been a lot of work been going on the infrastructure for continuous integration, the website, and of course the development of GNU Radio and the packaging, the real backbones of the project. So look forward to hearing more about that during the conference.
Yeah. Thank you, Derek.
Certainly. And that's a wrap, folks. So talk to you all at the conference. I don't know whether or not there will also be a developers call, as the third Thursday will be falling right during the conference, but I'm sure that there will be a lot of news about GNU Radio coming out during that time period anyways.
Oh, did we talk about the hack chat?
We didn't talk about the hack chat. Thank you very much. The GNU Radio project is going to be featured on Hackaday as part of their regular hack chat series. That will be happening next Friday. The timing, if I recall correctly, is 9 a.m. on Monday morning, Pacific Standard Time. But I should have double-checked that. It's either 8 or 9 a.m. And we will absolutely be posting information in all the usual places, Twitter, Facebook, the GNU Radio Slack channel, the mailing list, and certainly on the website as well. So if you're interested in having I shouldn't say a one-on-one chat, but a many-on-many chat with myself, Marcus, I believe Neil and Nate will also be there. There should be a good crowd of us on the channel, and we will be just there for an hour answering people's questions. So if you're already part of the community, definitely come and interact with everybody. And for all the new folks, that is a great place to get to meet us all. So thank you very much, Marcus, for reminding me of that.
Don't worry.
Short of anything else, thanks very much for coming in and watching the video.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing everyone in person in 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Definitely. The conference is impossible to beat for that. So hopefully catch many of you in person in 3 weeks' time. And for the rest of the folks, catch you on the developers call in October. Bye.
Bye.